Yesterday we finished reading Samyutta Nikaya 1233. Today we're going to continue with a teaching by the middle. At Savatthi, the Venerable Kachana Gota approached the Blessed One, paid homage to him, sat down to one side, and said to him, "Venerable Sir, it is said, right view, right view. In what way, Venerable Sir, is there right view?" This world, Kachana, for the most part, depends upon a duality, upon the idea of existence and the idea of non-existence. But for one who sees the origin of the world as it really is with correct wisdom, there is no idea of non-existence in regard to the world. And for one who sees the cessation of the world as it really is with correct wisdom, there is no idea of existence in regard to the world. Footnote 46. The idea of existence, atita, is eternalism, sasata. The idea of non-existence, natita, is annihilationism, ucheda. The idea of existence is eternalism because it maintains that the entire world of personal existence exists forever. The notion of non-existence is annihilationism because it maintains that the entire world does not exist forever, but is cut off. Footnote 47. This is a long one. The commentary, SPK, the origin of the world, the production of the world formations. There's no idea of non-existence in regard to the world. There does not occur in him the annihilationist view that might arise in regard to phenomena produced and made manifest in the world formations, the world of formations, holding they do not exist. SPK PT, the annihilationist view might arise in regard to the world of formations. Thus, on account of the annihilation and perishing of beings, right where they are, there's no persisting being or phenomenon. It also includes the wrong view, having those formations as its object that holds there are no beings who are reborn. That view does not occur in him. For one seeing with right understanding the production and origination of the world of formations, independence on such diverse conditions as karma, ignorance, craving, etc. The annihilationist view does not occur since one sees the uninterrupted production of formations. Quite a handful of the commentary. Okay. Sister Chaikun, would you like to continue?
This world, Kachana, is for the most part shackled by engagement, clinging, and adherence. But this one, with right view, does not become engaged and cling through that engagement and clinging, mental standpoint, adherent, underlying tendency. He does not take a stand about myself. He has no perplexity or doubt that what arises is only suffering arising. What ceases is only suffering ceasing. His knowledge about this is independent of others. It is in this way, Kachana, that there is right view. All exists, Kachana. This is one extreme. All does not exist. This is the second extreme. Without veering toward either of these extremes, the Tathagata teaches the Dhamma by the middle. With ignorance as condition, volitional formations come to being. With volitional formation as condition, consciousness. Such is the origin of this whole mass of suffering. But with the remainderless fading away and cessation of ignorance comes cessation of volitional formations. With the cessation of volitional formations, cessation of consciousness. Such is the cessation of this whole mass of suffering. Samyutta Nikaya 12:15. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thanks, Sister Choi Kwan. Footnotes 48. SPK explains dukkha here as the mere five aggregate subject to clinging. Pancha upadana kanda matang ewa. Thus, what the noble disciple sees when he reflects upon his personal existence is not a self or a substantially existent person, but a mere assemblage of conditioned phenomena arising and passing away through the conditioning process of dependent origination. And let me repeat the last line. What the noble disciple sees is not a self or substantially existent person, but a mere assemblage of conditioned phenomena arising, passing away through the conditioning process of dependent origination. Okay, so this is the first extreme, all exists. Second extreme, all does not exist. Without veering towards this extreme, the Tathagata teaches the Dhamma by the middle. And what is Dhamma by the middle? Exactly the dependent origination. Sister Aikim, would you like to continue?
The continuance of consciousness. Monks, what one intends and one plans and whatever one has a tendency towards, this becomes a basis for the continuance of consciousness. When there is a basis here, when there is a basis, there is a support for the establishing of consciousness. When consciousness is established and has come to growth, there is the production of future renewed existence. When there is the production of future renewed existence, future birth, aging, and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, dejection, and despair come to be. Such is the origin of this whole mass of suffering. If monks, one does not intend and does not plan, but still has a tendency towards something, this becomes a basis for the continuance of consciousness. When there is a basis, there is a support for the establishment of consciousness. Such is the origin of this whole mass of sufferings. But monks, when one does not intend and does not plan and does not have a tendency towards anything, no basis exists for the continuance of consciousness. When there is no basis, there is no support for the establishing of consciousness. When consciousness is unestablished and does not come to growth, there is no production of future renewed existence. When there is no production of future renewed existence, future birth, aging and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, dejection, and despair cease. Such is the cessation of this whole mass of suffering. From Samyutta Nikaya 12.38. Thank you.
Thanks, Sister Aikim. Let's read the footnotes. 49, a long one. I interpret what one intends, Satati, and what one plans, Pakapati, here as representing volitional formations, Sankara. The second factor in the formula of dependent origination. Whatever one has a tendency toward anusati implies the underlying tendencies, anusaya, primarily the tendencies toward ignorance and craving. Hence, the first and the 8 factors in the formula. When one passes away with the tendencies toward ignorance and craving still intact, one's intentions and plans, the concrete manifestation of craving in the form of volitional activities, become the basis for consciousness to continue on, become established in a fresh, naked form, and initiate the production of a new existence. This is the event of birth, followed by aging, death, and the other types of suffering between birth and death. Footnote number 50. Although it is not possible to have the underlying tendencies without intentions and plans, this passage might be seen to have the rhetorical purpose of emphasizing the role of the underlying tendencies in sustaining the process of rebirth. But according to SPK, the passage is intended to show that for an insight meditator who has overcome unwholesome thoughts, the danger of rebirth still exists as long as the underlying tendencies remain intact. The third footnote for this sutta, 51. This paragraph shows Arahant, a short one. Okay, so that is the continuance of consciousness. Sister Shawmei, would you like to continue?
The origin and passing of the world. Monks, I will teach you the origin and the passing away of the world. Listen and attend closely. I will speak. Yes, Venerable Sir, the monks replied. The Blessed One said this. And what, monks, is the origin of the world? Independence on the I and forms. I consciousness arises. The meeting of the three is contact, with contact as condition. Feeling comes to be, with feeling as condition, craving. With craving as condition, clinging. With clinging as condition, existence. With existence as condition, birth. With birth as condition, aging and death. Sorrow, lamentation, pain, dejection, and despair come to be. This, monks, is the sub-origin of the world. Independence on the ear and sounds, independence on nose and odors, independence on the tongue and taste, independence on the body and tactile objects, independence on the mind and mental phenomena. Mind consciousness arises. The meeting of the three is contact. With contact as condition, feeling comes to be. With feeling as condition, craving. With craving as condition, clinging, existence, birth. With birth as condition, aging and death. Sorrow, lamentation, pain, dejection, and despair comes to be. This, monks, is the origin of the world.
Thanks, Sister Shawmei. So in the introduction, Bhikkhu Bodhi mentioned that sometimes the teaching of dependent origination doesn't start from the beginning, doesn't start from the end, but starts from the middle. This is one example of that sutta. So we are not starting from ignorance, we are not starting from aging and death, but here we're starting on contact from the middle, and then from contact all the way we reach the aging and death. Okay. Sister Saikyam, would you like to continue?
And what, monks, is the passing away of the world? Independence on the I and forms, I consciousness arises. The meeting of the three is contact. With contact as condition, feeling comes to be. With feeling as condition, craving. But with the remainderless fading away and cessation of that same craving, comes cessation of clinging. With the cessation of clinging, cessation of existence. With the cessation of existence, cessation of birth. With the cessation of birth, aging and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, dejection, and despair cease. Such is the cessation of this whole mass of suffering. This, monks, is the passing away of the world. Independence on the ear and sounds, independence on the mind and mental phenomena, mind consciousness arises. The meeting of the three is contact. With contact as condition, feelings come to be. With feeling as condition, craving. But with the remainderless fading away and cessation of that same craving comes cessation of clinging. Cessation of existence, cessation of birth. With the cessation of birth, aging and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, dejection, and despair cease. Such is the cessation of this whole mass of suffering. This, monks, is the passing away of the world. From Samyutta Nikaya 12.44. Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thanks, Sister Sakyam. Okay. With that, we have finished reading the dependent origination. So hopefully after all the introductions and the suttas and the extra materials from Ajahn Brahmali, we get a better understanding at least of dependent origination. Not the full understanding, because if we get a full understanding, we will be an Arahant already. Okay, but any questions or comments? Yeah, maybe some of the suttas, like after reading, not sure what is going on. So maybe you can try to reread and reread again. Till a bit again, maybe be guided by the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Have a truthful Tuesday ahead. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you guys next time.